Las Vegas Raiders shocking roster surprises. After the 2025 NFL Draft, hey Raiders fans, get ready, because we've got some big surprises coming out of training camp. Today, we're talking about 10 unexpected players who might actually make the final 53-man roster. These are names no one expected, and we've ranked them from the least surprising at number 10 to the most shocking at number 1. Let's start with number 10. Charles Snowden. Some fans believe he should easily make the team. But here's the twist. He was left off the early roster prediction. Why? There's a court case scheduled for July 22nd, and with a new leadership team like John Spytek and Pete Carroll, the Raiders might want to avoid any drama. Still, Snowden showed real value last year, making 39 tackles and earning a lot of respect in the locker room. If things clear up, don't be surprised if he makes the cut. Before listening to the latest news, subscribe to the channel, like it, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Let's move on to the new news. Now, let's talk about number 9. Thomas Harper. This young safety isn't on many radars, but he quietly impressed last season, especially in pass coverage. If the Raiders decide to keep 5 or 6 safeties, Harper could slip onto the roster. He's not a lock, but he's absolutely a name to keep your eye on. Let's keep going with more unexpected names who could end up on the Raiders' final 53-man roster. At number 8, we've got Sam Webb. He's been hanging around the Raiders for a few seasons, mostly as a practice squad player, and he's done enough to stick around. That tells you something. He works hard, stays focused, and does what the coaches ask. But here's the truth. Webb doesn't have the same speed or athletic ability as some of the newer defensive backs. Still, he has a good frame, 6 feet 2 inches, 195 pounds, which gives him a physical edge. The question is, can he prove he belongs in the nickel corner spot? The Raiders don't need another outside corner right now, but a reliable nickel could help fill some serious gaps. If Webb shines in that role, he could absolutely earn a spot. Now at number 7, let's talk about Chris Smith. He's stepping into the final year of his contract, and while we haven't seen a ton of action from him on the field, his presence off the field is huge. Coaches and teammates respect him. He's a locker room leader, a player who brings everyone together. In a team filled with new faces and young talent, guys like Smith are important. He may not wow you with stats, but sometimes the players you don't notice are the ones holding everything together. Let's keep the surprises rolling on the Raiders' potential 53-man roster. At number 7, we've got Chris Smith, a former captain at Georgia. Now, he might not have elite NFL skills, but what he does bring is heart, effort, and leadership. He's a guy who competes hard every single play. With the Raiders' thin depth at safety, Smith has a real shot to sneak onto the roster. He might not be a guaranteed starter, but if the coaching staff wants a player who leads by example, Smith is that kind of guy. Moving to number 6, meet another Georgia Bulldog, Zamir White, the running back. Known as Zeus, White showed flashes of power late in the 2023 season. When he's confident, he runs tough and hits the hole with force. But here's the challenge. His vision isn't great, and that can cost a team yards. Still, the Raiders might need him. If Sincere McCormick isn't fully healthy by week 1, and if the younger guys like Dylan Lobb or Chris Collier don't step up, White could end up being the backup. Even with the team drafting Ashton Jeanty, there's a chance they'll carry 4 running backs into the season. White's spot is far from safe, but don't count him out just yet. Now, let's break into the top 5 surprises. At number 5, Melo Dodson, a cornerback out of Kansas. He didn't get drafted, which shocked many. In college, he made big plays. 5 interceptions, 6 pass breakups, and even a touchdown on defense. Sure, Kansas isn't a football powerhouse, but Dodson proved he has game. He started for 4 seasons and always found a way to impact the field. With the Raiders still figuring out their cornerback rotation, Dodson could climb the depth chart fast, especially if he shows up big in camp. Let's move to the next surprise name on the Raiders' radar, Melo Dodson. This kid helped turn around a struggling Kansas program, and that speaks volumes about his mindset. The Raiders' new leadership wants more than talent. They want players who bring energy, leadership, and the ability to change a locker room. Dotson's background shows he's that kind of guy. If he steps up in training camp and outperforms someone like DeCameron Richardson, don't be shocked if Dotson snatches a roster spot. At number 4, say hello to Tyreek Mallister. Is he a running back? A receiver? Maybe both. But what makes Mallister stand out is his versatility and speed. Two things the Raiders absolutely love. He might not break in as a wideout, but as a gadget player, a return specialist, or even a depth running back, he adds value. Let's say McCormick isn't ready and Zamir White struggles. Suddenly, Mallister becomes a real option. Plus, he's got ties with some of the special teams coaches, and those relationships matter. He might not shine on offense, but his ability to help on special teams could be the key that opens the roster door. At number 3 is Zack Carter, a defensive tackle who showed flashes of potential last season. The Raiders' defensive line was beat up, but Carter held his own when it mattered. With Patrick Graham and Rob Leonard leading the defense, and after drafting Tonka Hemingway and J.J. Peggs, the competition is getting fierce. But here's something interesting. This coaching staff might keep fewer defensive ends and focus more on defensive tackles who can play multiple roles. Carter fits that mold. He's got versatility, and when the trenches get rough, he doesn't back down. With 22 tackles under his belt and solid reps last year, Carter could find himself earning a key role in the Raiders' rotation. Let's talk about a name that almost no one expects: Joyner. Yes, he went undrafted out of Minnesota, but don't let that fool you. This guy plays with heart and hustle. Last season, Joyner racked up 32 tackles, 4.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles. That's not just effort, that's production. He was projected by some to go in the 5th or 6th round, so the fact that the Raiders were able to bring him in without using a pick might be a quiet win. With all the questions surrounding players like Tyree Wilson and Charles Snowden, the door is wide open for someone like Joyner to sneak through. The Raiders already have Max Crosby and Malcolm Kuntz holding it down on the edge, but if the coaching staff wants a young, hungry player to develop behind those stars, Joyner could be that guy. He's quick, physical, and brings intensity every snap. If he shines in camp and shows he can be trusted in rotation, don't be surprised if John Joyner becomes one of the most unexpected names to make the 53-man roster. Now let's talk about the biggest surprise candidate of all, Jaylen Walker, a linebacker who might just shock everyone and crack the Raiders' 53-man roster. Walker comes out of Indiana with some serious production: 82 tackles, 2 sacks, and 3 forced fumbles. That's the kind of resume that makes you pause. But here's where it gets interesting: his journey. He transferred from James Madison, and when his college coach made the jump to Indiana, he brought Walker with him. That says something. Coaches don't bring just anyone. They bring players they trust. What's holding Walker back? Mainly questions about his coverage ability. In the Big Ten, linebackers aren't often tested in that area, but in limited snaps, he showed flashes: 8 pass breakups and 2 interceptions. If he can carry that into Raiders training camp, he might force some tough decisions in the linebacker room. Let's not forget, last year the Raiders kept 7 linebackers. With uncertainty still lingering around that group, a versatile and physical player like Walker has a real chance. Add in his ability to contribute on special teams, and suddenly, this undrafted free agent doesn't look like a long shot anymore. Jaylen Walker may not have been on anyone's radar, but don't be surprised if he makes headlines during rookie minicamp on May 9th. The Raiders are watching closely, and you should be too.